The chapter began with Jinwoo defeating Baran. His shadow soldiers were busy collecting mana crystals. With his victory, Jinwoo had obtained several powerful items. The Demon Monarch's ring, Demon King's longsword, Demon King's daggers, Baran's horns, and the final item needed to complete the holy water of life, the purified blood of the Demon King. The Demon King's longsword had an attack boost of plus 350 and could activate the skill called Storm of White Flames every time it was swung. The Demon King's daggers, with a plus 220 attack boost, and can trigger a skill called 2 as 1 when used together, which dealt damage based on the caster's strength stat. Jinwoo wore the Demon Monarch's ring, and the system notified him that its effect would activate if he also wore the Demon Monarch's earring and necklace. His stats increased as a result. However, Jinwoo considered the purified blood of the Demon King to be the most important item. The liquid, which came from Baran's purified blood, contained powerful magic. Despite being purified, it still harbored poisonous substances. According to the system, in order to use it as a potion, Jinwoo would need the fragment of the World Tree, which he had obtained from Vulcan, and the spring water from the Forest of Echoes, which he had acquired from Metis, to neutralize the poison. Essel, watching quietly, wondered if Jinwoo was okay. Meanwhile, Jinwoo began crafting the holy water of life. The system prompted him to confirm if he wanted to craft it, and Jinwoo quickly selected yes. The crafting process began, and the system displayed that the success rate and the number of items that could be crafted depended on the crafter's intelligence stat. Jinwoo thought to himself that if he had known earlier, he would have focused more on increasing his intelligence. Essel overheard him and pointed out that he shouldn't worry. If it was based on skill, there would definitely be no problem. The crafting began with the countdown. After the countdown finished, the system confirmed the successful creation of the holy water of life. And Jinwoo couldn't help but shout, yes. Essel clapped in excitement as well. However, Jinwoo noticed that only some of the Demon King's blood had been consumed, and a small portion of the World Tree fragment had chipped away. But the spring water from the Forest of Echoes had vanished entirely. He realized that not all of the items would be depleted during crafting. Only the necessary amount was required. Staring at the crafted item, Jinwoo wondered if the holy water of life could truly cure his mother's illness. He knew he needed to hurry and find out. At that moment, Iron appeared, dragging Baran's wyvern they had defeated. Jinwoo smiled, realizing that Iron had figured out what to do next. The other shadow soldiers gave thumbs up in approval. Jinwoo then said the word arise to extract the wyvern, and Essel was stunned as she had never seen Jinwoo do this before. Jinwoo explained that he had the ability to extract beings and make them his shadows, though he couldn't extract demons. However, it seemed that the wyvern was an exception. As the wyvern was successfully extracted, the system prompted Jinwoo to name it. Jinwoo tried to remember its name, but could only recall something like Kaizelian or Kalakalan. He asked the wyvern for its name, but it didn't seem to respond. Essel remarked that Jinwoo wasn't very good with names. Jinwoo finally decided to name it Kaisel. As he did so, the wyvern let out a powerful roar and flapped its enormous wings. Essel told Jinwoo that if they rode Kaisel, they would return to her clan in no time. Jinwoo wondered if he needed to descend through each floor to exit the dungeon quickly. Essel added that once they returned to the clan, they would hold a banquet, and her father would be pleased. Jinwoo didn't pay much attention, his mind still focused on the rewards he had yet to receive. Jinwoo then received his rewards from the regular quest. The first was a top-tier runestone that contained the skill Shadow Exchange. The second was a plus 30 bonus stat, and the third was an undisclosed reward, the title Demon Slayer. However, the system noted that Jinwoo hadn't met all the requirements for the title yet. Focusing on the first reward, Jinwoo cracked the rune stone, and the Shadow Exchange skill was activated. This skill allowed him to swap places with a selected shadow soldier with a cooldown period of 3 hours, though it depended on the skill's level. Jinwoo was ecstatic, exclaiming that it was amazing to be able to swap places with his soldiers, essentially allowing him to teleport. Essel, however, seemed disappointed that Jinwoo didn't appear interested to her. She decided to help the shadow soldiers collect more mana crystals instead. Jinwoo, noticing their effort, said, "Good work, everyone," and told Essel he needed to leave without her. Essel, concerned, asked about the banquet. Jinwoo explained that her clan was on the 80th floor and that it was too far for him to join. He activated his new Shadow Exchange skill and said to Essel, "I'll see you around. Goodbye." In an instant, Jinwoo disappeared, and the system confirmed that Shadow Exchange had been activated. Essel, left speechless, looked at the shadow soldier that had taken Jinwoo's place, and they exchanged confused glances, unsure of what had just happened. The scene shifted to Jinwoo, who had returned to his neighborhood. Since he had defeated the dungeon boss, the area began to restore to its original state. Jinwoo smiled, pleased that his skill had worked, and noted that he could use it again after a cooldown of 2 hours and 59 minutes. He then called out to his new shadow, Kaisel, and mounted the wyvern. As they soared under the full moon and across the starry sky, Jinwoo was on his way to the hospital where his mother was being treated, the city lights shimmering below. Meanwhile, at the Hunter Association office, Woo Jin-chul and Chairman Go were discussing a video from Japan, where ants were detected using satellite cameras that could detect mana. Chairman Go thought to himself that all 3 of the destroy missions had been documented by the Japan Hunter Association, just as Go-To Ruji had assured. The ants crawled out of their tunnels, leaving behind the queen and her guards. According to the documents, their appearance had changed, which seemed to be proof that they were evolving with each generation. Each generation likely lasted about a year, since that was the average lifespan of the ants, Chairman Go added. He also worried about the guards protecting the queen, as well as the beasts that were likely guarding her, considering it was a high-ranking dungeon. He turned to Woo Jin-chul and asked, "Once the ants learn their queen is in danger, what are the chances they'll return to the tunnels before we get the job done?" Woo Jin-chul replied, "We'll be sending out jamming signals. The ants communicate with each other using special waves, so we can use radio signals to confuse them." Chairman Go then stated, "In that case, our only concern should be the queen and her guards." Just then, Chairman Go stood up, sensing a powerful mana wave from a distance. He wondered what was happening, prompting Woo Jin-chul to ask if something was wrong. Chairman Go quickly inquired whether Woo Jin-chul had managed to contact Jinwoo, to which Woo Jin-chul replied that he was doing everything he could. The scene then shifted to a restaurant where Baek Yoon-ho and another hunter were eating. Yoon-ho asked his companion if he had felt the strong mana waves. The hunter responded that even though he had retired from being a hunter, he hadn't lost his touch with such things. Still puzzled, Yoon-ho wondered what could have caused the wave. His companion jokingly said that it was likely the result of a clash between Choi Jong-in and Cha Hae-in over their share in the guild. As they joked and drank, Yoon-ho was told to turn that frown upside down, to which he laughed and agreed. Meanwhile, it was revealed that Baek Yoon-ho's companion is the retired S-rank healer, Min Byung-gu.